time is 6:30 p.m. The Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of Tuesday, February 16th, 2016 is now called to order. First item is announcement of the quorum is present and the approval of the minutes of February 2nd, 2016. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yes, Chairman, there is. On the last item where we had voted for the Goodyear change there, I had seconded that motion made by Brandon, and that's missing on the minutes. You see where I mean? Okay.
Okay, then may I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended for the February 2nd meeting?
Move to approve with the necessary amendment.
Second.
Okay, Brandon, and seconded by Steve. Those in favor signify aye.
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 Motion carries. Agenda item 3 is the consent agenda for plats. We'll read A and B and then discuss. Item A is final plat of Holford's Prairie Edition, Lot 1, Block A. It contains a 0.857 acre. It's zone light industrial and located at the southeast corner of Holford's Prairie Road and Midway Road. Item B is the final plat of Connell Development Edition, Lot 1, Block A. Contains a 1.335 acres. It's zone light industrial. It's located on the north side of Bennett Lane between Lakeway Drive and Waters Ridge Drive. Mary?
Nope.
Good evening, Commissioners. The two plats on the agenda have no variances requested. There is one plat that is still out for signatures. Staff would recommend approval of both plats subject to the signatures being obtained.
Okay. Commissioners, questions?
No.
Okay, if not, may I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Steve, seconded by Kristen. Those in favor signify aye.
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 Motion carries. Then we go to item 4 is public hearing, zoning, and special use permits. I will read items A and B together. Consideration of a zone change request from heavy industrial, HI, to agricultural open space, AO, on approximately 0.28 acre tract. It is out of lot 15, block A of Artex Park Edition, located on the east side of South Railroad Street, approximately 3,280 feet south of State Highway 121, business, as requested by G&A Consultants on behalf of Artex Corporation, the property owner. This is case number PC 2016-0204. Item B is consideration of a zone change request from agriculture open space AO to heavy industrial HI on approximately 0.28 acre tract out of the JW Haven Survey, abstract number 541, located at 1235 South Railroad Street, as requested by G&A Consultants on behalf of Joyce Wiltshire, property owner, case number PZ 2016-0205. Mary?
Good evening, Commissioners. With your indulgence, we'd like to discuss these two items together for the reason that they are basically doing a land swap. So what I'd like to point out to you is the current land configuration. This is lot 15. This is Miss Wiltshire's property in the purple, and this is the other piece of property owned by Artex in the pink. In the current lot configuration, Artex Park platted this lot as lot 15 back in 2012. It's part of a larger 68-acre industrial park development. The existing Lot 15, so essentially here, has a building that's used as an office and has some parking closer to the front. The piece of property that is proposed to be rezoned from HI to Ag Open is this triangular piece, which is currently vacant. This piece of property to the north, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Pedraza, is also zoned Ag Open, and this is Ms. Wilcher's property to the east, which is also zoned Ag Open. The proposed two zoning cases are essentially looking to swap these two pieces. Both sections are 0.28 acres. Ms. Wilcher's property over here currently has a house on it, a metal barn, and another out structure. What is looking to happen is Ms. Wilcher would acquire this piece of property, and Artex would acquire this piece of property, which is basically a panhandle attached to Ms. Wilcher's currently. So the final lot configuration, we do have a plat currently in review for this lot configuration, subject to the zoning being approved. So lot 15 currently would become lot 15R and would lose this little triangular piece. This is proposed lots 16 and 17, which would essentially combine this and this purple piece to Ms. Wilcher's property. It would be advantageous to both property owners, as this is part of Artex Park. It would connect here and here. Ms. Wilcher's property would be more connected for her to use, probably in a better configuration. And she does have access to Railroad Street currently, and that would not change. Try to make it as simple as possible because it gets a little confusing. But essentially, that's the gist of the zone change request, is they're trying to do a land swap, AO to HI and HI to AO, to basically, this property is already zoned HI. This would connect it, and this property is currently zoned HI. It would be Ag Open to combine with the rest of Ms. Wilcher's property. Do you have any questions? I would suggest that we open the public hearing, and then when you want to make a motion, that you do for each case separately.
Did we hear from any neighbors or anything?
No, sir.
No. Commissioners, questions? Okay, at this time, we'll open up a public hearing. It will address items 4A and 4B. If anyone wishes to speak, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Okay, having no one come forward for items A and B, close the public hearing. We'll address item A first. Any discussion, comments? If not, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve item A.
Motion by Kristen for
Second.
4A, seconded by Brandon. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, discussion. May I have a motion?
Move to approve item B.
Move to approve item B by Brandon,
Second.
seconded by Mary Ellen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, both of these items will be considered by the City Council in a public hearing on Monday, March the 7th at 7:00 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item C, 4C is consideration of a zone change request from General Business, GB, to Old Town Mixed Use 2, OTMU2, on an approximately 0.3 acre tract. It's out of the J.W. King Survey, abstract number 696, located on the east side of North Mill Street, approximately 120 feet south of East College Street at 322 North Mill Street, as requested by Jeff Capps of Cross Ventures LLC, the property owner. This is case number PZ 2016-0206. Mary?
Good evening, Commissioners. This particular piece of property is located just south of College Street on Mill Street. It is located in the Old Town District. The Old Town Master Plan for this area does call out this piece of property to be rezoned to Old Town Mixed Use 2, which the applicant is requesting. The applicant is, we've spoken to the applicant. They're currently looking to repurpose the house that is on the property into an office building. While the property is currently zoned general business and would allow for that type of use, when you have to go through the replatting and the Old Town Development Plan process, the Old Town Mixed Use 2 does allow for some greater flexibility in that endeavor. Do you have any questions?
Is there any difference in the two for parking requirements?
Old Town itself has a reduced parking requirement, so regardless of whether they rezoned it or not, it would still be applicable to them.
Commissioners? Okay. Thank you, Mary. This time we'll open up a public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak on 4C, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, comments, questions, concerns?
No.
Okay, then may I have a motion on item C?
Move to approve?
Move to approve by Mary Ellen,
Second.
seconded by Brandon. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, this item will be considered by the City Council in a public hearing on Monday, March 7th, 2016 at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item D, consideration of special use permit for self-storage facility on approximately 6.822 acre tract is out of the Peter Harmonson Survey, abstract number 604, located on the northwest corner of State Highway 121 and Valley Parkway. It's requested by Joe Bowers of Bowers and Associates on behalf of Hawkeye Realty, Scribner, Payne Johnson Management, the Payne Family Partnership, the Ghost Pine Limited Partnerships, the property owners. The case number is SUP 2016-0202. Richard?
Good evening, Chairman Davis and members of the commission. The request before you is on the on Highway 121, which is a major gateway into the city from the southwest, which is primary approach from Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Developments surrounding this site consist of the Majestic DFW Corporate Center. We have a number of large companies in that area that are currently under development and adding additional buildings. The proposal for this site includes a two-story self-storage warehouse. All the units will be on the interior. It will be climate controlled. The applicant has enhanced the building, the architectural materials on the exterior and the exterior building design, and has provided, as you can see in the landscape plan, a great deal of landscaping around the site. You have an image of the architectural elevations, as you can see. The staff's biggest concern, though, regarding this project is its location and the fact that it does not comply with the long-range plans for the area. The Louisville 2025 plan identifies this area as an employment center, and it emphasizes the development of a business similar to the businesses that are in the Majestic development. And there are other corporate office developments along the 121 corridor. In your packet, I've provided some example photos of just a few of the other office developments that we do have in that area that are envisioned by the 2025 plan. So therefore, staff cannot support this request and recommends to the P&Z that you recommend denial to the City Council. I also want to point out there was a letter of opposition from the adjacent property owner, Majestic DFW, and that written opposition will require a supermajority vote from the City Council in order to approve the SUP. And that means that a vote of 5-0 would need to be required in order to approve the SUP. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, and if not, the applicant is here to provide you more details on the application.
I had one question about the service road. It looked like there was a turn lane. Does that require state highway approval? And is that something they would normally do on?
That is actually a requirement of the city ordinances, the general development ordinance, that a right turn bay, since it is very high-speed traffic along there, that will give any turning traffic an opportunity to move over and safely make their turn.
But coming out of that location, it looks like you're right into the middle of traffic and no acceleration lane.
Yes, we cannot prohibit access to the frontage road at that location. It does meet the driveway spacing requirements of the GDO.
Okay.
One question, you say that according to the Vision 2025 plan, that this is supposed to be an employment center.
Yes.
I pass that every day. It doesn't seem like it's a whole lot of space to build anything there. What, if anything?
6.8 acres, so corporate office or a smaller.
Corporate office, okay.
Yeah, variety of different uses that would support, employment. Like I said, there's quite a few examples on that corridor that probably sit on similar-sized acreages, as you can see here in the example photos. Many of those are in the 5 to 10 acre range. And again, that's what is envisioned for that corridor. And it does make a statement that that is a major gateway into the community. If there's no other questions, I'll turn it over to the applicant. Thank you.
Oh, be sure and sign in and
All right, sir.
state your name.
I think I still remember my name is Joe Bowers. Members of the Planning Commission, my name is Joe Bowers. I represent Mr. Payne, who owns the property, and the Assured Group, who proposed to build this self-storage facility. One thing I'd like to point out, the two questions that popped up where Mr. Lukey was up here. One is it's referred to as a 6.8 acre tract. It is 6.8 acres, but 1.8 acres is a detention pond. We're building on 5 acres. That's all that anybody can build on is 5 acres. Also, as far as the traffic goes, and when you exit that, could you bring that up again, that site plan? Sorry about that. Sure. When you exit the site, the TxDOT made sure that when we put our entry and exit here, and the city did too, that you cannot exit this site and get on the freeway. You have to get on the service road. So you're not crossing 100 feet and dashing into the entry lane of 121. You have to come in and stay on the access road. So it's not as dangerous as one might suppose it would be.
But that's also kind of the turn lane to go down under and get back on 121 the
Yes,
other
sir,
direction.
you have to travel quite a while, at least a mile, 2 miles to go on, to get back on 121. With me tonight is because I'm just a fellow who does zoning cases. We have Jose La Batista, he is our architect. If there's really an architectural question that needs to be answered, he can answer it. And then David Reich is also with me. He is our civil engineer, and he can answer any really questions about the detention pond and drainage and things like that. So does anyone on the commission have any other questions before I talk a little bit about this? Won't waste too much of your time.
I was wondering who the clientele would be for this.
Sir?
Is there a specific clientele? It's not near any residential areas or apartment houses or anything that you would normally see up.
Right. The Assured Group has been very successful on building self-storage facilities on high traffic areas. We built 2 more, one in Castle Hills, which is also considered Louisville, and one in the Colony. So those 2 have already been built on 121, and they're filling up like gangbusters. So it's a traffic that sells the site to someone who wants to do a self-storage facility. We've actually been working on this site with Mr. Payne for 4 years. It's been a long process, but we finally worked out all the problems with detention and easements and all the goodies, and now we're ready to go forward. So anybody else have a question before I bore you for 2 or 3 minutes?
I had one more. The hours of operation was listed like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. My experience with most of the storage places, it's like 9:30 to 6.
No. The hours of operation, I don't know, they didn't ask me for the hours of operation. The hours of operation Monday through Friday are basically 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. On Saturday, they close at 5. And on Sunday, we're only open from 1 to 5, 1 to 6, I believe, something like that. So it's not almost 24/7 as proposed in the information that you were given. I don't know who provided that to them, but that's incorrect.
Then one more.
No problem.
Lighting.
Yes, sir. The Assured Group has only done, since they came to the Dallas-Fort Worth area in 1989, they've only done 40 of these developments across many counties, the 5 central counties of Dallas-Fort Worth. And so we have made sure long ago that all lighting would be at less than 5 feet, and the lighting would be directed downward, so you don't get an overdome, you don't get a stadium effect on the deal. This lighting, even the interior lighting on this development will be hard to see anyway, since we have an 8-foot stone and brick wall that completely surrounds the facility, except at the entry gate and the exit gate, which is, the exit gate's only used by the fire department. So there won't be any what we call overglow. Anybody
I had
else?
one question. How many employees at this location?
Usually there is somewhere between 3 and 4. They usually have, there's an on-site resident manager who lives there, man and wife. And then they usually have 2 more, so that's 2 employees. And so you have 2 more that probably do part-time. You can't work people 7 days a week, 5 days a week, and then they're part-time on Saturday and Sunday. So there's during our hours of course, the resident manager lives there 24/7. So there's basically 4 employees at that location.
Any more questions? Okay, I think we have them all answered.
All right, well then let me give you some more views. It won't take very long, 2 or 3 minutes, but let's get this here. I'm surprised that we didn't get this question. We usually do. Let's see here. There we go. Because an old superstition about many storages or self-storage facilities, whatever you want to call them, is crime. Well, with the new ones that are being built, and in the last 20 years, they've really erased the crime question about any self-storage facilities. And our research here went to the Louisville Police Department. Denton Tap Storage had 12 instances per year, 2014, 2015. So during 2014 and 2015, the police were called to the Denton Tap Storage, which is on Denton Tap Road, 12 times. Friendly Storage, which is a lot bigger place, out on 3040, the police were called to that facility 33 times, an average, 2014, 2015. So what did we compare this to? Well, let's just compare it to the Convergence Corporate Park, okay? Doesn't mean that corporate parks generate crime, but you can see that it's twice as much. I'm just trying to show that these do not have an impact on your police department.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to point out, so you wouldn't miss it, there we go. Let's see a little, down a little further. Our perimeter fence is 8 feet tall. It is brick and stone. Can't see through it. There are no doors. If you could see the doors, all the doors are inside, except a few personnel doors and things like that. So I want to make sure that everybody knew that we had an 8-foot perimeter fence made out of brick and stone. If you look at a 2-story section, we have a 2-story building. We have 75% brick and 25% stone with some ephes relief in there. It's going to be a pretty good looking building. These are pictures of our neighbor. Well, that's a good looking concrete tilt-up warehouse. Not to be redundant, but that's what it looks like. It's concrete tilt-up. And I'm a little amazed that someone from that organization would come in and say that our building would be distracting. Of course, our opinion is that our building, since it's 75% brick and 20% stone, it's going to be a lot better. So this is where Assured Storage is going. In the audience, so they can verify this if you'd like it, is Mr. Payne. He is under negotiations with Majestic to possibly buy the tract north of us, the other corner. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have a chance to approve a project, Assured Storage, 75% brick, 25% stone, and if Majestic goes there, although some dressing on the corner will be appropriate, it's going to be a concrete tilt-up building. We believe that our structure will hopefully, if we're permitted to build it, suggest to whoever takes that corner to come up with your standards and make it a nice gateway for the city of Louisville. The other point that I'd like to make, and I'll be short here because we all want to go home probably, is that basically staff has said, and we understand this, we do appreciate staff saying that although the architectural, building design, and landscaping have minimized the visual impacts typically associated with self-storage facilities, they like our buildings anyway. They just they think we're in the wrong place. The last sentence of the staff report summary, remaining vacant land should accommodate development that ensures a vibrant and dynamic employment base for the city in the future. Well, we certainly understand that, but if I've got 250 jobs and I'm an employer and I'm shopping for a research corporate office, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to go to Louisville, Irving, Arlington, City of Dallas, Fort Worth, and I'm going to be playing the cards. Who's going to give me the best deal? Well, the best deal is always the people that come up with economic incentives. What are those incentives? No taxes. This is the Louisville tax rate. And although I live in Arlington, I'm thinking about moving to Louisville. You have a fantastic tax rate, okay? The property that Mr. Locke, Assured Storage, built in Castle Hills sold. I know it sold, I sold it. That provides the city of Louisville with about $39,000 a year. It sold for $114 a foot. If we are able to build this one, it will also sell for the same price. It's prettier, it's better, it's at a better location. It's going to produce 68.6 in taxes. Therefore, these two facilities, if we're allowed to build, are going to produce $9,000 a month in taxes. Now, what's my point? My point is that you're a growing dynamic city, and of course, you want to have these places where you get these corporations to come in and provide jobs and all that good stuff. But you also have to have a few instances where people are paying good taxes. Here's 5 acres. 5 acres, it's going to be delivering $9,000 a month to the city of Louisville. So instead of thinking about all your land for corporate redevelopment, you might want to consider a little site here and there that'll produce a lot of taxes. I appreciate your time. I believe that Mr. Wicker, unless somebody's just got another question for me.
Actually, I do. What is your research telling you about this location and the success that you're going to have in making sure that it is filled and that you get all the tenants in there that you want?
Well, the Assured Group, since 1989, have built 40 in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Okay.
We just got through selling 22 of them. And you take about an organization that built 40 facilities, I bow to them. They know what they're doing. They would not be building this $5 or $6 million facility out here, or 7 or 8 or what it is, unless they were almost 100% sure it would be a winner. Now, somebody, I can understand, we got no apartments around us. We got no this, we got no that. Unfortunately, we're all getting older, especially me. And all of a sudden, my wife's mother is no longer with us. My mother's no longer with us, but we got stuff. And we're sticking the stuff in storage. Also, all of the new developments that are going in, all the housing developments are saying, you're not going to park your boat here. You're not going to do that RV here. This is what's driving the mini warehouse business. The older we get, the older our ages are, the more stuff we have to account for, number one. Number two, it's the housing developments. Although I agree that you don't want an RV or a boat or something like that in your neighborhood, well, guess where they're going? They're going into storage. So we feel that this will be a very successful project.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Okay, Mr. Bowers, thank you very much. I think at this time we'll open up the public hearing. And if anyone else wishes to speak, they can come forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, the public hearing is now open. If anyone wishes to speak, please come forward, sign in, and state your name.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
My name is Brent Wicker. I'm a partner with Wicker & Associates. We're a commercial real estate firm. I've been selling land in Louisville for 36 years. Long time. We specialize in office, industrial, townhome, multifamily, and most recently, the Coyote Ridge Outdoor Movie Theater. Hopefully it gets built. So we just closed on that a few months ago. Anyway, in selling all these different types of land, office and industrial, we've done a lot of. And Mr. Payne's group, we've represented them for 10 years. Got multiple sites up and down 121. They're all zoned light industrial. We have multiple users looking at the various sites. Majestic came in and built, a 600 or 800,000 square foot industrial building on one side of us. And they've got a 1 million square footer on the other side of us, as you saw by the pictures. Not conducive for corporate office. First of all, it's 5 acres, not 20 acres. Up and down LBJ and Coppell and Irving, most of our office sites are 10, 12, 20 acres. Corporate office, not a 5 acre small site. Now granted, you could get a small user that would come in there, but we've been marketing this property, all these properties for 10 years. We haven't had not one call for office use. And now that you've got industrial literally on both sides of you, we think, in our opinion, 35 years, 36 years in the business, this is a good-looking building. This is a good-looking product. You can't see the doors. All from the inside, you've got 8-foot screening wall around it. Doesn't look like a warehouse. Looks like an office building. If the renderings are good, and personally, I think it'd be better than a tilt wall warehouse at the entryway into the city. Comments?
Thank you, Mr. Wicker.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Bobby Payne, and I am an attorney, and I represent the sellers, and I'm also principal in 2 of the sellers who are here before you tonight. We've owned this property as well as several other properties in this 121 area since our family has rather owned the property since 1967. And as Brent mentioned, we've had a relationship with Brent and his company for about 10 years. And we haven't had a whole lot of interest on this property, quite frankly. We have been negotiating with Volk on and off for several years. We had one other, I believe we had one other construction contractor that expressed an interest in the property, but he kind of went away. So, you know, we're very anxious to, you know, we're not anxious to sell, but we would like to sell. We obviously owned it a long time, but we would, you know, we'd like to see this mature into a product. Just to give you a little bit of background about our group, we own several other properties in Louisville over the years. We sold the Walmart site up at Denton Tap. More recently, we sold the 28 acres to Mary Kay, so for their facility. We're fairly familiar with the market, and although the market is strong in a lot of respects, we have had a hard time selling to office use. We've got this, you know, we did get this opportunity with Mary Kay. That's of course a much larger tract, and so anyway, we would very much like to see this go through. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. All right, anyone else? All right, if not, at this time, the public hearing is now closed. Discussion, commissioners?
Well,
Go ahead.
for me, I mean, with the staff kind of not backing in, really, the Vision 2025 plan has kind of been our guiding star. And this being outside the realm of Vision 2025 plan, I just can't see myself supporting another storage unit. We already have one coming up on 3040. That's just my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Just to add to that, I agree that, you know, with the 2025 plan, that has been a carefully thought out plan that was put together for what our city needs to be and what it needs to grow into. It's not there yet. It's a transition process, and I know we have really talented staff that is recruiting businesses very successfully to this city, that I feel confident that at some point we can get something that fits more in line with what that area is envisioned for. I think the thing that gives me the biggest heartburn about this is it's not the aesthetics. It sounds like it'd be a very beautiful building. It's just the jobs, the number of jobs. I've worked for did some work for a small industrial site on a similar size lot, and they probably had maybe 100 employees versus 2 full-time and 2 part-time. That's what concerns me, just the number of jobs that we could fit on that piece of property ultimately. And I think for me, I think I'd rather be patient, so I can't vote for this either.
Anyone else? Okay. I would also say I think we have an excellent staff, and I think we have to rely on their expertise. So, with that, no more discussion. May I have a motion to either Accept or deny?
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
Motion by Kristen to deny the request,
Second.
seconded by Brandon. Those in favor of denial signify aye. Aye. Opposed? That was unanimous. Denied the request.
Mr. Chairman, this item will be considered by the City Council in a public hearing on Monday, March the 21st, 2016, at 7:00 p.m. And due to the recommendation of denial by the P&Z, it will require the council will be required to have a supermajority vote of 5-0 to overturn P&Z's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, having no other business to come before us, I may have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I do have one announcement before we adjourn.
Yes, sir.
Would like to announce that the March 1st P&Z meeting will be canceled due to the fact that primaries will be held out in the City Hall lobby. So our next P&Z meeting will be on Tuesday, March the 15th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had a motion to adjourn. Did we have a second?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Seconded by Kristen. Those in favor, aye.
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 Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.